I don't mind if you see me enjoying a beer. Were you here, I would offer you a beer. And if you didn't take it, I would drink that one too. Memorial Day 2020. This piece is called Even Everything Altogether Wants More. My fingers always tap on an armrest or a blanket, on a book I'll never read but like to carry. When I'm sitting still, they tap, and I think sometimes they're typing, maybe typing what I'm thinking even now. Every now and then, when I'm relaxing at a happy hour, not doing anything but trying to be happy, I'm told I'm always moving. I ask myself, my fingers anyway, what are you playing when you lightly drum on a desk or in a bar? It's 3 a.m. While reading Field and Stream in the waiting room, my fingers send telegraphs and then they clench. The doctor says you have restless leg syndrome. I tell him no, my legs are fine. He asks me, do they tingle? I tell him that my fingers always drum and tap. I can stop them when I notice them, but when I look away, they start again. Well, the doctor says you have restless arms syndrome. I tell him no, my arms are fine. My hands are up to something, or just my fingers are. Peripheral neuropathy, he wonders. Kidney failure. Do you often wake up running? No, I say, my legs are fine. And by the way, it's always been this way. They tapped away in school for 16 years. Then they drummed the rhythm to 10,000 meetings, maybe more. The doctor looks confused. He tilts his head. They've never bothered you till now? I tell him no, that they don't bother me. I'm used to them, though they used to bother teachers long ago. So why did you come in? He asks. I tell him I'm a writer, that I'm curious. I want to know what my fingers tap or drum or type. Maybe why they're never done with what they're writing. Let me get this straight, he says. You're a writer and you're curious, but didn't want to write this or see someone about this until now that you're old? I'm happy that he understands. I never got around to it, I say. I always got distracted by clouds, by how she moved her fingers smoothly. And I'm not old, I add. I'm severely middle-aged. He asks me about allergies, the pills I take, who in my family died of what. The doctor says sign this and we'll get started. When I come to, he's pulling off the final leech that's really anchored to the tip of my left thumb. We're nearly done, he says. My fingers hurt a bit. The tips of them ooze blood. The leeches barely wiggle in a bowl. The doctor says, I'll give you more details on Tuesday when the lab's all done with the leeches, but I can tell you that we siphoned out 1 million doodles, thousands of poems, ambitious novels, scores and plays, and billions of things you should have said. Pretty good one to have a leech on my finger while reading this. Memorial Day weekend 2020. This piece is titled Don't. The fog is so thick you can't see the missiles, you can only hear them buzzing. Why are you walking in this fog? You can't see the lava, but you feel its heat and smell your burning shoes. What's on your leash that tugs? You want to shout out, I'm over here, but whenever you open your mouth, cement slides down your throat. Where have the question marks gone? You have that funny feeling you get right before you get run down by a truck with so many stacks of unsecured bricks you can hear the air wheezing from the tires. Why are you walking in this fog? You can't see the sun jump off its perch and splash into stars. What's on your leash that tugs? You reach out because that's what everybody says you should do. You shout out, I'm over here. I need a rope, a pair of inflammable shoes, rosary beads. But whenever you open your mouth, it's clawed by the rescue equipment. Why are you walking in this fog when our fog is new and improved? It's very Trumpian poem. Climate change. You're not going home again, but something you just noticed about your heartbeat, your disloyal body, makes you want to contact those kids, maybe grandkids by now, of a long ago still alive neighbor, to go and see if the fountain outside the park building, the ugliest small-scale institutionalization of outdoor play enhancement ever designed, the park building near Yelling Coaches, where Vinnie Hayward shot that kid in the eye with a BB gun, if the fountain outside of that cell block without windows, where the bones of different children were found 50 years after we left, still has the coldest water in the world. That doesn't sound quite as dark as it is, but it's pretty dark. And that's true. They found all these bones near Van Houten Park, and I was just fascinated because I love going to that park because the water was the coldest in the world in that water fountain. Okay, and then just one that's kind of...
Only like 6 left.
Uh-oh. That's not the one I want to read. Time for one more?
Oh, no.
On the way home from an arts festival in Roanoke, Virginia last July, the planes got all screwed up, and what should have been a quick, maybe 5-6 hour trip with one switch of planes, it instead took over 18 hours, and I was isolated, stranded really, in the Philadelphia airport overnight. And every update I got too late to do anything about it. And it's called Overnight at the Aviary, dedicated to my good friend John M. Bennett, who is currently waiting at gate 43. All the shops and kiosks where you pay $6 for water are closing. Cameras are everywhere. They don't pull gates in front of merchandise, toss tarps atop racks of T-shirts. Registers are locked by people subject to dress code, who can flex an employee discount, buy the water for $5.99. They turn off signs and head home. I didn't sleep last night. We partied late. I left at noon, got here by 1:15 p.m. I should have been home 10 hours ago. The hum of lights, the buzz of pipes shed decibels and harmonize. You can hear the songs you barely hear when it's busy in the airport. And they're just subliminal pep talks to twist again. Better run through the jungle. Bang a gong. Want $6 water. After 3 delays, we were sent to a different gate where the flight was delayed, then rescheduled, then canceled. It wasn't until 12:15 a.m. I was given a ticket to a flight leaving at 7. I declined a hotel room because by the time I'd get to it, check in, figure out the air conditioning and TV, it would be 2, and I'd have to get up by 4 to figure out where I was to find my way back to where I don't want to be. After the last delay, they rolled in carts with boxes of food from an airport store. $13 sandwiches, Doritos, soda, large cookies. For the 40 or 50 of us, they brought enough for 200, including $1,200 worth of Evian on a cart they put by a drinking fountain with a faucet for refilling bottles. I'm in a massage chair facing a hallway that stretches from anywhere you've ever been to everywhere you'd like to go. But it's impossible to sleep because even though all the unattended bags full of explosives went home or to the hotel by now, they interrupt the music whenever you doze off with "Attention passengers" at the volume needed during the noisy day. You can't say something about seeing something if you fall asleep during your shift, as a TSA announcement activated bag-watching deputy. It's 2 a.m., and I wish I was at the hotel watching SpongeBob, eating one of the 8 sandwiches I crammed into my briefcase along with 2 giant cookies and a small fortune in water that I wouldn't be allowed to bring back in here tomorrow into the here and now and then. I nod awake and asleep. Bob and I are in the back seat as our family drives to the World's Fair, past a caterpillar of apartment buildings and intermittent billboards that say, "If you lived here, you'd be home now." I look up at the airport ceiling, selected by someone who picks elevator wall coverings, and please indulge me a little longer so I can ask, why do they have cameras on the water and on the racks of T-shirts, but not on the scattered air travel zombified overnight strangers in their damn unwatched bags? And by the way, do they know whether or not anyone tinkered with any of the bags of enough Doritos for 200 people before they sent those bags our way? It's nighttime in the aviary. Birds peep here and there. A few owls hoot to dot a slumbering coo. When space prankster, the alien without a planet, materializes, it sprays the dome with sound scrambling aerosol and vanishes. The next day at the aviary, all the birds sound different. Some like orchestras tuning up, others like pinball machines, several like pop guns. And the loudest bird is saying, "Do not leave your bags unattended." It's too damn loud. It's impossible to sleep, knowing that Bono still hasn't found what he's looking for. Somehow it's 5 a.m. An ill-assorted pack of the just-aplaned red eyes of commerce, people on the go, walk by in slow motion. They all have stories to tell that I'll hear someday on NPR. The wheels on their wheel-around carry-ons sound like canaries having nightmares. All of them are looking at their phones and saying simultaneously, "I'm at the airport." Bennett would go on and on whenever we'd see him. He's saying, "Everybody's saying I'm at the airport. I want to tell them, we know you're at the airport." That's what you're calling. I'm at the airport. He's collaged that poem like a dozen times with all those squiggles all over it.